The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Drivers and Danica, start your engines!
Pull those belts down tight. One more time. Warm up those tires. Hit your marks. And let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, NHRA, and local dirt track and drag strip racing talk. This is the Championship Racing Network.
Where'd you go? Where's your home? How'd you end up all alone? Can you hear me now? Hear me now.
Now, here's Steve West, Dustin Harmer, and Matt Nicholson with producer John Myers.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a wet day.
I don't know what the heck happened there. Suddenly Mother Nature just decided, you know what? We're going to bring fall in style.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah.
Welcome to it. I am Steve West. That's Matt Nicholson.
Hello, hello.
Mr. Harmer, how are you?
What's up, buddy?
Had a good time last week out at Vaden Toyota. Met a lot of good people. Now we're back in Studio.
Studio? Wow, we're really going off.
You like
We're
that?
in rare form today.
Yes, indeed.
That was different.
Yeah, but we're happy to be back in, ready to get going here. Plenty to get to today, including we have a very special guest coming in.
Yes, Jonathan Ponder, the newly crowned mini late model champion at Talladega Raceway Park, is going to join us at 12:20 today.
So, yeah, we're looking forward to that. So we got a lot of news to get to before then. We want to thank everybody who helps bring this show to you, of course, here at Radio Alabama. Want to thank our hosts. We also want to thank the great folks at Renaissance Bank.
That's right. Renaissance Bank, when you need financial freedom, make it your first and only choice, and that's Renaissance Bank. Stop in and see Janice and all the good folks down there at 8th Avenue Southwest in downtown Childersburg, online at renaissancebank.com, or give them a call today, 256-378-4002. Renaissance Bank is the official bank of the Championship Racing Network, and of course, to our newest sponsor, Christmas in the Pines. They've got a Christmas Village and light show that's going to be at the Camulga. We were talking about that before. The Camulga Grist Mill. That's going to be November 17th through the 23rd of December. It's 7 days a week, so it's 7 nights a week from 5 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. There's going to be arts, crafts, food, hayride, fun, and of course Santa Claus.
Good stuff for the entire
My wife
family.
is itching to go to this.
Really?
Well, and Santa Claus is going to be joining us. We were talking about it last week on the show.
nice.
You know, yeah. So Santa,
Yes, I get to ask for a new car.
yes, or at least an engine. So
Yeah,
I mean, that's all.
And
Really?
shots are fired already.
Boom! Just like that. So big thanks to Renaissance Bank and, of course, Christmas in the Pines. Great folks, and love to have them on the show. And, of course, we're coming to you live from the J&M Tank Line Studios.
There you go. Last weekend, quick overview of what happened on the tracks in case you've forgotten or didn't know. Saturday, Kansas Speedway hosting Xfinity Series, and despite being playoff time, it did not mean the drivers for other series weren't running. And as it turns out, winning. This time, however, it was the driver that Joe Gibbs Racing is actually bringing up from the Camping World Truck Series to run full-time next year in the Xfinity Series. Christopher Bell claimed his first ever win in the Xfinity Series, holding off Cup Moonlighter and, as it turned out, ticking off his Gibbs teammate Eric Jones in the process. Race got so close that the two actually banged off of each other with 4 laps to go. Bell claims the lead, the only 4 laps that he led all day, but being as you're a racer and our intern Garrett is a racer, you know this. It doesn't matter how many laps you lead as long as you led.
As long as you lead the last.
The last one. There it is. Jones, in the end, led 186 laps on the day, but just couldn't close the deal. Pole sitter Tyler Reddick actually claimed second. Keep listening for Eric Jones's name, okay? Your winner, Christopher Bell. Tyler Reddick is second. Third, Ryan Blaney. William Byron. Justin Allgaier in the top 5. Austin Dillon. Elliott Sadler. Matt Tift. Ty Dillon. Ryan Reed. Am I missing somebody?
So far, I haven't heard.
I've not heard the word
Eric Jones yet.
Here's the details. Jones hits the back of Bell's car with those 4 laps to go. Caused problems on his car. He ends up not only not in the top 10, but a lap down in 15th place. Big problems.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Eric Jones was not happy with Christopher Bell when all was said and done.
This is the problem I have with this. Dear Eric, this is my letter of the week. Dear Eric.
We're going to have a new segment of the show.
Letter of the week.
Dear Eric.
Dear loser.
Eric.
Yes, dear fill in the blank, and this week it's Eric Jones.
Yes.
Christopher Bell had you cleared. You chose to stay in the top lane. If you want to win the race, and this one right here will tell you, crack the throttle and execute the move that is known as the Crossover.
Yeah, I was actually waiting for that to happen.
He didn't do it.
And then I was like, he's not.
So surely he's not going to run in
Bell
the back
lost
of
his
it.
momentum so bad.
Yeah.
That all Jones had to do was cross over.
And he had it.
Race is his.
Yeah. He would have had it right there done.
Instead,
That's it.
runs into the back of him.
It was kind of like when you're playing like a video game and you're playing and you're turning and you're turning the remote
Come on.
to try and get a little bit more.
And this is his
You were
first-
waiting for him
And
to
this
do
is
it.
his first reaction. Well, this isn't dirt track racing. You think?
Well, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations. You've been doing this for a little while. Both of you, actually.
Exactly.
As all is said and done, Justin Allgaier continues to lead the way in the championship race. Got a slim 2-point lead over William Byron, Matt Tiff, Ryan Reed, Daniel Hemrick, and Cole Custer are out there. The last two, Henrik and Custer, are on the hot seat, but they're all within really about 3 points of each other, battling to get into those top four positions here as we get down to the finals. So it'll be fun to watch among Tift, Reed, Hemrick, and Cole Custer to see who ends up moving on. Sunday, Formula One got their race going just before the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series did, so we'll talk U.S. Grand Prix first. And this is a bit unusual for Formula One if you know it. It was a clean first lap.
Yeah.
That is very unusual.
was.
Yeah. Lewis Hamilton, your pole sitter, Sebastian Vettel actually got the better start, led the first lap. From there was pretty much the Lewis Hamilton show. His tires started to warm up. He started reeling off laps that nobody else could match. He was back in the lead by lap 4, rolled onto a relatively easy win. I say relatively. It was about a 13-second gap between first and second
That's
place.
pretty easy in my book.
Only.
Yeah. Well, we've seen bigger in Formula One.
we have.
So let's face that. Hits this, by the way, get this. Lewis Hamilton not only claims his 6th overall U.S. Grand Prix win, he's claimed the 4th one at Circuit of the Americas. He might as well own the place.
Same way Schumacher owned Indianapolis.
That's true.
Doesn't
way.
like Hamilton pretty much own everywhere this year, and last year, and
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but you think about it, this goes back to his time before he was in the Mercedes, though.
yeah, that's
So
true.
he's just got a way that Circuit of the Americas, I guess, just matches his driving style or something to that
Yeah.
effect. Whatever it
Hashtag
is.
crazy.
There it is. By the way, keep in mind, Circuit of the Americas has only been in use by the series since 2012. Sebastian Vettel did claim second. Hamilton, so is still battling for the championship. He could have clinched.
Yeah.
Hamilton winning, if Vettel had finished 6th or worse on the day, Hamilton would already be your title holder.
Yeah.
It's already that close. And as it is this weekend, if Hamilton wins, which is pretty likely because he's pretty good at Mexico too, then I think Vettel has to. I think it's second. He's got to get. I think he's got to get a podium finish.
Yeah, I think it's a podium.
If I
from what
remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm same way with me.
So, yeah, time is running out for Sebastian Vettel. Top 10 overall, Hamilton, Vettel, Kimi Räikkönen, so both Ferraris get podiums. That was pretty happy for the Ferrari faithful out there. Here's the thing. Kimi Räikkönen actually didn't cross the finish line in 3rd. He crossed the finish line in 4th, following Max Verstappen. But Formula One officials ruled that Verstappen went a little bit too far off the track in order to make the pass on Räikkönen.
Ticked off a few folks.
Yeah, gave him a 5-second penalty, so that means that Verstappen is back to 4th. Valtteri Bottas 5th, followed by Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, Felipe Massa, and Daniel Kvyat made up the top 10. So Kvyat suddenly finds himself back in a Toro Rosso car.
Yeah.
We'll get back to this in a bit.
Yeah.
Gets a top 10 and won't be able to back it up. Hamilton holds a significant 331 to 265 point lead over Verstappen for the 2017 title. Valtteri Bottas is actually making second place something of a kind of contested. He's got 244, so he's only 21 points back. Not bad. Daniel Ricciardo's car failed him in Texas, so he remains with 195 points, and that means that Kimi Räikkönen is now closing back in. He's got 163 points in 5th, so 4th place is still up for grabs as well. Max Verstappen is all alone in 6th in points by himself, and then you got kind of this group of drivers within the top 10. Sergio Perez, Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz, Felipe Massa make up your top 10. Here's the thing. Only 8 championship points separate the drivers from 10th through 13th place. So he's still got a lot of possible changes between now and the end of the season.
Yeah.
As for the Constructors' Cup, it's all over but handing over the trophy. That was clinched at the U.S. Grand Prix by who else? Mercedes.
So was Ferrari.
Yeah, really. Well, and we thought it might have been. Actually, we were wondering
Yeah,
at
we
the
were.
early part of this year for the first 4, 5, 6 races.
It looked different. It looked like we were going to be in for an exciting run, and then
Yeah, and then Mercedes said, "Oh, wait a minute.
oh yeah,
so fast.
We let you guys get a nice little lead. Now we want to make it interesting.
That's right." no more interest anymore.
Yeah, no more.
Mercedes got their 4th straight Constructors' Cup title. So congratulations to them. Ferrari has 428 points, got a 113-point lead over Red Bull for 3rd, probably going to lock that down. Force India's all alone in 4th place, 159 points. The battle for 5th in Constructors' Cup is still going pretty good here. Williams got 68 points, Toro Rosso 53, Renault 48, and Haas F1 has 43. So a lot could still change there depending on what happens in Mexico. Let me see, Brazil, and then we got Bahrain, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So
yeah.
3 more races. Yeah, still a lot could change. McLaren holds 23 points and just praying for next year when they can change engines from Honda to Renault. And Sauber's got 5 points on the season going, that seems so long ago. The Cup race looked like it might not be the day that Martin Truex Jr. and the Furniture Row Racing team were hoping for when they learned about the passing of one of their own. We'll talk about this a little bit more in a bit, but the team learned last Sunday morning about the death of one of their fabricators, James Jim Watson. We'll get back to that, like I said, but that means that they actually start off with kind of heavy hearts as a team. And then the race actually starts on a bad note. Truex goes down on the apron on a restart, which the leader is not allowed to do according to NASCAR rules. And according to everything that they said, we weren't there, so we can't vouch for this, but I would imagine it probably was so. They said that you shouldn't do that during the driver's meeting, that the leader could not go down below the white line.
But
on
the odd thing about this was Truex was penalized, but Harvick wasn't.
Harvick followed him down there.
Harvick followed him. There was no penalty.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that fact when I saw it.
Nobody's ever mentioned that.
No, they didn't even pay attention to the 4 cars in behind him.
78 had to do a pass through the pits penalty. Well, out of Kansas.
Probably controlled because he was the control car.
That may
probably
be
why.
true.
That is true.
Yeah. But at a place like Kansas, you got to go pass through the pits. That means you go a lap down. Later in the race, he comes back through the pits, this time for a loose wheel. And then a major crash involving his teammate, Eric Jones, on the number 77, got him back on the lead lap. Things starting to turn. That's where he raced to the front, led the final 57 laps, claims the win. Top 10 following Truex Jr., Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher. Hello.
Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola, a name that we don't often talk about in the top 10, and Kyle Busch round out the top 10.
After this race, hey, take my little thing known as the bracket, wad it up, shred it, do what you want to with it. Mine is done.
I already took care of that for you.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I still have my championship one.
He's still alive.
I've got my
You're
championship
the only
guy.
one alive out of all of this because I made it farther than Matt. And actually, I had 2 over you. Yeah, going into this one. Yeah.
I knew I had Sten. I lost after the first round.
Yeah,
I was done.
I only
after
had
the
2
first round.
moving into the round of 8. I had 2 better.
I haven't actually. I can't remember the brackets overall.
Oh, that's right. I need to post them.
Yeah,
don't I?
I've got my championship guy there.
I'll put it in my notes to scan those and put them on Facebook.
Yeah. Which, by the way, and we did this before they ran the first race.
Yeah, we did it. We'd actually the weekend that it was kicking off, we went through and did all of our picks and all.
And keep in mind that this race last weekend at Kansas was the cutoff, so 4 more people went.
Which is weird,
sitting by the wayside
because they moved the Talladega race because they didn't want it as a cutoff.
Yeah, right.
Kansas was just as bad.
Kansas was. We
was
never
just
talk
as
about
bad.
the big one at Kansas.
The wreck that we talked about that took out Eric Jones was. It was amazing how many cars were actually involved in it.
Yeah, that one kind of threw me for a loop when they were saying, because I was watching it and it was like, it's the big one. And I'm like, we're not at Talladega.
Yeah, this isn't Talladega. This is a mile and a half.
But it looked like carnage of Talladega.
It really did.
Speedway. It really did.
You know, and the red flags and everything that went along with it.
Yeah.
Truex obviously was already locked into the 3rd round. Meanwhile, the crash and a penalty on Matt Kenseth for too many men over the wall, which NASCAR parked Kenseth for, which I found interesting. I've never known them to actually park
That was wrong.
a car
I'm sorry.
for too many men over the wall.
I could see a penalty.
The pit where it came in, and Jeff Burton explained this to perfection. You can have a 7th man over the wall only to remove the tear off from the windshield.
Yeah, to service the driver.
Service the driver.
Right.
That 7th man come over the wall with a sawzall in his hand, and he went to cutting.
Yeah.
Everybody went ballistic. Nope, he's done.
Yeah, and they parked him for it. I mean,
the same-
I've heard of penalties, but I've never seen the penalties so severe as to park the car for the rest of the day.
The same thing, what people don't realize, and this was brought up on social media by somebody, I can't remember who. The same thing happened at Charlotte a few weeks ago to Corey LaJoy. Nobody said one word. The same thing.
Not that I'm saying anything negative, but it is Corey.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a big
Corey
difference. But
It's not
the-
Matt Kenseth who is
Yeah.
running.
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
That's true.
He's a playoff
Yeah, that's right.
contender.
Playoff
He's a
contender, and it had
high-profile guy with a
implications, yeah.
high-profile team.
I mean, there's so many things that happen that we probably don't even know about with all these other teams and all these
True,
other
true, and
up
true.
and coming teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That nothing applies to them, but it applies to those that are in the spotlight.
Yeah,
So
and the thing about it is, and we've seen this. NASCAR's using officials like every third or fourth pit stall, something
it's
like
three.
that.
I think it's
for
three.
every third pit stall.
Yeah.
Plus, they have cameras that are set up over
Yep.
it. But those cameras cover 3 pit stalls as well.
Yeah.
Let's face it. There's a pretty good chance you're going to miss something if you're trying to watch, especially during a rush
Right.
of pit stops.
Right.
You're trying to watch everybody. It's not that easy to do. You're
No.
bound to miss something
Yeah.
somewhere down the line.
yeah, like somebody not putting enough luck.
Yeah, but they didn't miss it on Kenseth.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kenseth parked, fell out of contention. Jamie McMurray, Casey Kane obviously fell out of contention as well. Kyle Larson suffered a blown engine fairly early in the race.
That was
He's
Yeah,
out.
that was
And
devastating.
that's what
Yeah.
kind of shocked both of you guys.
But the thing about that is, though, up until like 10 to go, he was still alive.
Yeah,
He was still alive with about
Because
10
of
to
the
go.
wreck. Because
Because
of
of
the
that wreck. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so weird how the playoff points actually happen because,
Yeah.
I mean, like you bring up the fact that Truex was out of the race and he was still possibly moving to the next round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, it was just so weird how
amazing.
that happened.
So here's the deal as we go this weekend into racing, as the seeds are seeded number 1, still Martin Truex Jr. Kyle Busch is seeded 2, Brad Keselowski 3, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Elliott. They are your playoff contenders.
I want to know when the horseshoe ends for Jimmy Johnson.
I really thought it was going to
Because
end.
I thought it
at
was
Talladega.
over.
I thought
I
it was
really
over at
did.
Dega.
Yeah.
I
that
really did.
was
Yeah.
that was just like, you got to be kidding me. And then I'm just, how is he still in?
I don't know.
Go away.
And I mean, even he calls 2 cautions at Kansas too.
Yeah. He brings out 2 cautions at Kansas. Horrible day. It's been a horrible season. I'm sorry for
It
Jimmy
has.
Johnson.
It's
It
been
has.
a subpar.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, for his
he's got multiple
standards.
wins
Yeah.
on the year,
Yeah.
but you think about what that 48 and what we've seen that 48 do.
Especially in playoff time.
This is a subpar year for the 48.
Extreme.
I would say below subpar.
Yeah, I mean, it's
This has been an absolutely awful.
It's
I'm
ugly.
surprised that that Chad Canales and Jimmy Johnson aren't already signed up for Dr. Phil after season's end.
hey, you don't know that they aren't.
They probably are. I mean, go figure.
Yeah. As for this weekend, what's going to happen on the track? Camping World Truck Series gets back into action. I find this interesting. Next weekend, we're going to be in Texas. But this weekend is the Texas Roadhouse 200
In
at
Virginia.
Martinsville Speedway. I love how these things work. Fox Sports 1 and MRN Radio have the coverage. The radio side starts 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. So about 10 minutes from now.
About the same difference as the Visit Myrtle Beach 300 at
At
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Okay, but this one makes a little bit more sense because it's a restaurant. And they do have one in Martinsville.
Have you been there?
Not that one, no.
Not that one, no.
No.
But you've been by it, I'm sure.
But I love Texas Roadhouse.
Absolutely. It's good stuff.
It's absolutely awesome.
Making me want a steak. Shut up. Sunday schedule. Formula One runs the Mexican Grand Prix. You love me saying this, so here we go. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Say the 6th time fast.
Yeah, no. 17 turns, 2.67 miles long. It's right in downtown Mexico City. NBC, the main network, will air the race. Starts 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. And then a little bit after that, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series runs the first Data 500 from Martinsville. NBC Sports Network, PRN Radio. Radio coverage starts 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time. But wait, there's more. The NHRA is also back in action this weekend. Going to be in Vegas. Got the NHRA Toyota Nationals. You're going to be running it at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Finals going to air live on Fox Sports 1, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central Time. This, by the way, is their second to last race of the year. So championship starting to really, really shape up there in the Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series. As far as this weekend, the Xfinity Series has their final off weekend of the year. We mentioned just a bit ago, Furniture Row Racing suffered the loss of one of their employees. We will look back on that gentleman's life in just a couple of moments. We'll also talk a little bit about things going on that apparently motorsports.com still doesn't know what they're talking about. Richard Petty Motorsports has got themselves a driver, and we'll also talk about what it means for Stewart Haas Racing and some other news when we come back right here on the Championship Racing Network.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back.
Choosing a bank is not an easy task. You're trusting your money and your future in the hands of strangers. At Renaissance Bank, you're no stranger. You're part of the family. Renaissance can meet all your banking needs with the tools you need to secure your family's financial future. They even have tools for your kids like student checking. No monthly maintenance fee on a balance of $500 or more, unlimited check writing, and open the account with just $50. Visit a branch today in Childersburg, Chelsea, or Sylacauga for more information. Give your kids the tools to have a prosperous and successful future. Online at renaissancebank.com. Renaissance Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffer from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my whole life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
4 tires and 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network here on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290. Coming to you live from the J&M Tank Line Studios. Find us, of course, on the radio dial, Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290 on Radio Alabama. The family here at Radio Alabama. Online, WYEA.net, or make sure you download that Yay 106.5 app for smartphones or tablets. This segment of the show, of course, brought to you by our great friends at Renaissance Bank. As we say all the time, when you need financial freedom, make your first and only choice Renaissance Bank. Stopping to see Janice and all the great folks down there on 8th Avenue Southwest in downtown Childersburg. Online at renaissancebank.com or give them a call today, 256-378-4002. Renaissance Bank, the official bank of the Championship Racing Network.
When we were talking about the beginnings of the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup race, we mentioned that Furniture Row Racing had suffered a loss of one of their employees that they found out about Sunday morning. That employee was James Jim Watson. They learned he passed away late Saturday night while he was attending a go-kart event. Prior to the race, the number 78 and number 77 cars sported JW stickers in order to honor Watson, who was a fabricator in the company's Denver shop, and he accompanied the team to Kansas. 78 crew chief Cole Pern said that he wasn't with Watson, but other Furniture Row employees were there, and they accompanied him to the hospital. Pern arrived a little bit later only to learn that Watson had already passed away. Pern said, quote, "I know they were just sitting there and he had a heart attack and kind of keeled over when they were done. I know he had just texted his wife not long before that, telling her how good of a time he was having." Take a little bit of solace in that he was happy in his last moments. Watson, a longtime racer, had been a driver on the short tracks in the upper Midwest, mostly in and around Wisconsin, before turning his attention to building cars. Worked for Roush Fenway Racing, Scott Motorsports, and most recently Furniture Row Racing, where he worked on both the 77 and the 78 cars. James Watson, 55 years old.
That's always sad.
It is.
Yeah, that's a bad deal right there.
And to be out there just having such a great time like that. And then, you know, like you said, you know, he texted his wife and said how much of a great time he was having, and then just...
Yeah. And then that was that.
Anytime.
Last week, we mentioned on the air, and we said it specifically. There's a long-time rule, long-standing rule in the Championship Racing Network and its prior life under another name.
Hashtag do it right.
That's right. I would rather be last on a story and get it right than be first on a story and get it wrong.
Yep.
I don't want to mislead you.
Yes.
That's why we were very careful to say last week, Motorsport.com was reporting that Bob Levine of Levine Family Racing had not confirmed that Casey Kane was signed.
Right.
I don't know where Motorsport.com got that information.
We need to get them on the phone.
DearMotorsport.com. New letter.
Yes.
Clean house of your NASCAR riders.
That's where we need to send an SOS. Dun, 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 stop. Dun, 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 putting out. Dun, dun, dun.
Fake news.
I was waiting for it. I was like, someone, come on, man. Get with the program.
Here's the reason why we are taking Motorsport.com and effectively not only throwing, but kicking them under the bus and rolling over it and then putting it in reverse.
Yeah.
Levine Family Racing themselves has announced that Casey Kane will be working with crew chief Travis Mack. Well, gee, if Casey Kane's not signed, why would you say he specifically is working with crew chief Travis Mack when they start?
If he's not
racing in
signed, why do
2019?
you have a press conference with him wearing a Chevrolet logo shirt with a LFR logo on the other side and white polo sitting beside Bob Levine?
Why does he run out of gas
run out of
running
gas.
to sign his contract?
I mean, all of these things kind of point to something like, I don't know, he's
Hashtag
signed.
IDK. I don't know.
Wow.
Hashtag morons on parade.
As far as Travis Mack is concerned, he's got himself some pretty good chops there on his resume.
Yeah, he
Moves
does.
over from Hendrick Motorsports, where he's been the car chief on the number 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr., according to ESPN's Bob Pockris. So there you go.
He
This
will
will be a nice run. And this kind of does
Yeah.
seem to continue that run down the road where you think that there's going to be
Yeah.
announcements soon.
Yeah.
Because Levine Family Racing's been getting their stuff from Richard Childress Racing. But you seem to think they're going to
Everything's
go
lining
Hendrick.
up. I think it's fixing to go to Hendrick.
Hendricks.
Well, I mean, when you got the likes of
Yeah.
Casey coming out of Hendrick,
You're pulling a Hendrick engineer, car chief.
car chief.
Here you go.
Yeah.
This is just
it just seems to
And
be working
with them
that
pulling
way.
Travis Mack, this is going to be another scenario where he's going to be the next Mike Wheeler, like Denny Hamlin has.
All right. Well, then you also got to look at the fact of if you're Levine Family Racing, okay, you see how things are going with your
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, you're not getting anywhere with Richard Childress Racing
Exactly.
equipment. You know, they're taking care of the Circle Sport team, the
Dare-
33, all
dare
that
I
stuff.
Dare I say, probably 60% of the races so far with an ECR affiliated car, RCR affiliated car, they've been the best performing car.
They have.
That's true.
They
Yeah.
have.
But they're ready to step it up to the next level, and they're just not getting
so.
that from RCR.
Yeah, they probably
Yeah,
still
I
feel like
agree.
they're getting
I agree.
service.
Yeah.
I fully agree.
So this would be an absolutely outstanding move because, one,
Oh, yeah.
you're already bringing Hendrick people in. So when you go to the Hendrick equipment,
Yeah.
you've already got a car chief who's already been dealing with that Hendrick equipment that's
Exactly.
going to be able to bring you to that next level. So, yeah, they have been the best car.
Yeah.
But just because they're the best car doesn't mean that they want to get better.
It doesn't mean that there's
Exactly.
not room to improve.
Exactly.
You know, their ultimate idea, we talk about it each week. Everybody, you don't go to the track to not win, right?
You're right.
You go to the track to win.
Exactly.
And you're going to do whatever you got to take that's going to put you in that best possible position.
Yeah,
I love this.
You never set the bar at mediocre. You always go to the track wanting more every lap you
and
turn.
with Levine Racing, they I heard them say it was a few weeks ago that their goal is a top 20 because they know that they can do that, but it's really hard for them to do
They
more.
get lined up with Hendrick.
They get
can
lined
go
up with
top
Hendrick.
15 easy.
You get
Yeah.
Casey Kane in
Easy.
there, who has won.
Has
at this
proven to be
level.
a winner. I mean, he's a Brickyard 400
Yeah.
winner this year.
Travis
Yeah.
Mack, who knows how to work on things that Hendrick
Yep.
Motorsports puts out there. You know, I think they can be that consistent top 20 car. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe even a couple of top 10s here and there, but yeah, if you're looking for consistent top 20,
Yeah.
I think they're building the
Yep.
right package.
Now, this is not, for those that are listening, this is not confirmed that they're doing. This is just us speculating like we normally do.
Yeah.
That this is what we think could be going on over there.
Yeah.
But we aren't going to throw it out there like motorsport.com.
All the cards are falling on the table. That's what it's lining up to be.
Yeah. And,
It's
and-
just not confirmed yet.
and we talk about the fact that, you see enough smoke, there's fire. Well,
There's a lot of smoke.
you can't see through the smoke right now. It's so heavy because all of those pieces are just aligning up properly.
Yep. Meanwhile, and man, is this about time, things are a lot more certain over at Richard Petty Motorsports. Team officials have announced officially on Wednesday that they have now signed Alabama driver Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr., and they will put him in the famous number 43 for 2018. This makes Wallace now the first full-time black driver in NASCAR's top series going back all the way to 1971, which was the final year for Hall of Famer Wendell Scott. Officials with Richard Petty Motorsports said that they wanted to sign Wallace 6 weeks ago, but said at that time they were looking into other possible driver-sponsor combinations. Well, apparently none of that worked out. Wallace was officially signed. Team officials state that sponsor announcements are going to come at a later date. Wallace filled in for Eric Almirola earlier this year, ran 4 races when Almirola was injured. Improved his finish from each one, ended up claiming 3 top 20 finishes in those 4 events, the final one just barely missing out on a top 10.
Yeah.
In his NASCAR career, including both the Camping World Truck Series and Xfinity Series, he's claimed 6 wins, 6 top 5, 35 top 10 finishes. And then as for Eric Almirola, nothing is confirmed, but a lot of rumors. This isn't just motorsport.com, but there are a lot of rumors out there that seem to link him to Stewart-Haas Racing, but nothing official has been said.
Sponsor announcements as well as manufacturer announcements.
Yes, because that's long been a rumor, too,
The
that he was going
hot,
to be switching.
hot thing I keep seeing, 43 is going to be wearing a bow tie next year.
Yeah. There's been a lot of connection on that.
And I don't think that will be a bad move.
No, I don't.
I don't think it'd be a bad move at all.
I don't. I'd like to see Dodge come back, but Chevy is hurting right now. They need something to come together that's going to do something. I mean,
Stewart Haas Racing going over to Ford hurt Chevrolet a lot more than what they realized it was.
it did.
I'm not going to say it's going to put Chevrolet back on the map. By no means.
No.
Chevrolet's never been off the map.
But it's going to give them a fighting chance.
It'll give them a fighting chance again if the 43 goes to Chevrolet with Wallace. And as I said last week, I think that I will say she, is about to go to the 27. That's going to give Chevrolet a little bit, hey, we got the minority drivers over here. We got a female driver. That's going to bring... How would you say that?
It brings a lot of publicity.
It
It
bring-
does.
there
I'll
you go,
admit
publicity.
That.
That's
It
the
brings
word I
a
was
lot of
looking for.
publicity.
It does, but I mean, for Bubba Wallace Jr. to get this chance that he so well deserves,
Yes.
after what he's been able to step in and do, like you were talking about,
Yeah.
those four.
He got
20s.
shafted at Joe Gibbs Racing.
He did.
He did. thoroughly
I
shafted.
mean, I don't.
You can go
begrudge
back
them,
even farther
'cause
to
They put in some talented drivers. Eric Jones is a highly talented driver. I'm
He
not
is.
taking away anything from Eric Jones.
He just doesn't know how to do the
Christopher
crossover move properly.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
You know, Christopher Bell's in there. Daniel Suarez, he seems a little in over his head. I think they brought him up to the Cup Series a little bit too quick, but he is an accomplished racer.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, here comes Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr. out of Fairhope, Alabama, and he's doing Mobile area.
Yeah, close enough. Sorry.
You know, he comes in, did he light the Camping World Truck Series up on fire? No, he didn't. But you know what? He was a solid, consistent
He was
performer.
consistent, yes.
And
Consistent.
he was probably, with all due respect to Eric Jones, at least for the first season, more consistent than Eric Jones was in his
I
first
agree
year.
with that.
He was
I
extremely
agree.
underrated. And I go back to Talladega Super Speedway just a few short years ago to the Truck Series race, of course, in the fall. You look at the fact of, we were talking about it on the show formerly known as, when we had the sponsorship issue going on over there because of the likes of Kyle Busch and everything that was going on.
And that hurt Darrell.
And it did.
That hurt him,
It hurt
man.
him big time.
That hurt him huge.
But
Yeah.
he's had to claw his way back through and get things done. But he's never given up on that fact. And then when he got that chance, and we talked about it before, he stepped foot into that car over at Richard Petty Motorsports, that he
grabbed
was
onto
going
that
to go in and he was going to do something.
Yeah.
This speaks volumes to the fact of what he was able to do by just stepping straight in the vehicle and knowing what type of caliber driver he
And
really
he would be the
is.
first full-time Cup driver from Alabama since Davey Allison.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
you are correct.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. Now, keep in mind, for those of you that are going, well, wait a minute, they got Smithfield. Keep in mind, Smithfield at the end of the year moves from Richard Petty Motorsports over to Stewart Haas Racing.
Yep.
So that's why we're talking about sponsors needing to come on
And they
board
did
as well.
say 2 new sponsors new to NASCAR.
And
Nice.
see, that's going to be good.
I love seeing that, too.
Yeah.
When we're seeing sponsorship come in from the outside all of a sudden where there hasn't been there before.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the fact of, Home Depot and Dollar General and all these other sponsors that are just kind of falling off with Target, you know.
Yeah.
And
Going
now
by the
we're going
wayside.
to see new stuff come in. We've seen Monster Energy come in and really do great things with the sport. Bringing back the Cup.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Monster Energy. Now we actually have a Cup for the Cup Series. Go
Yeah.
figure. And now we're going to see the likes of this type of stuff coming in. This only speaks volumes to the fact that it's turning a corner.
And there's only been, really talking about sponsorship, as far as I can remember, there have only been 2 sponsors that are stayed on a car consistent all year long.
Lowe's.
Lowe's,
Of course.
FedEx.
Of course.
That's true.
Yeah, FedEx.
Lowe's and FedEx.
Lowe's
And the
is-
funny thing is
Lowe's is
FedEx
never
will change their colors on a whim, because one time they'll talk about freight and another time
FedEx
they'll talk
Freight.
about land, and then they'll talk about air.
FedEx Freight, FedEx Ground, FedEx Express, and FedEx Office.
Coming soon, FedEx Submarine.
FedEx by water.
Mentioned Stewart Haas Racing for about 4 more races. Danica Patrick's going to pilot the number 10 for them, and then Eric Almirola or somebody else, we don't know. Either way, if you are a fan of Danica Patrick, Nikki, there's a documentary about to be shown about her life on and off the track. It is simply entitled Danica. It'll premiere on the premium cable channel Epix November the 8th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time. It's directed by ESPN's Hannah Storm. A documentary that, according to Storm, is a, quote, rare, candid look at an icon, capturing never-before-seen moments on and off the track with Danica Patrick and those closest to her. Danica has seen it beforehand. Well, gee, I would hope so.
It is her life.
Yeah.
I mean, hello.
And on her Twitter account, set up a quote, "This has been in the works since the first of the year. I hope you enjoy it. I will say, I cried."
I'm touching that one.
On that note, we're going to take a break.
Yeah,
When we
let's
come
do
back,
that.
we will jump down to the Xfinity Series. We'll also talk about the Camping World Truck Series, crew chief maneuvers over there. We talked about it last week. An effective immediately resignation from Brad Keselowski Racing. We now know where Mike Hillman Jr. has decided to go, and it probably won't surprise you. And we'll talk a little bit at court. And it's actually not Tony Stewart and Kevin Ward. We'll talk about all that and more.
Thank you.
But wait, there's more coming up right after this on the Championship Racing Network.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffered from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my whole life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
Choosing a bank is not an easy task. You're trusting your money and your future in the hands of strangers. At Renaissance Bank, you're no stranger. You're part of the family. Renaissance can meet all your banking needs with the tools you need to secure your family's financial future. They even have tools for your kids like student checking. No monthly maintenance fee on a balance of $500 or more, unlimited check writing, and open the account with just $50. Visit a branch today in Childersburg, Chelsea, or Sylacauga for more information. Give your kids the tools to have a prosperous and successful future. Online at RenaissanceBank.com. Renaissance Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
2 tires only, and back out to the track for more action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network here on YA 106.5 and WYEA 1290. Coming to you live from the J&M Tank Line Studios, of course, on the radio dial 106.5 FM. AM 1290 on the Radio Alabama brand of families. Shush your pie hole. And you can listen to us at WYEA.net as well as download that YA 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets. Hey, Matthew, where can they find that app?
You can find that on the App Store or the Google Play Store, buddy.
That is absolutely outstanding that you're able to remember that. Steve, back to you.
Wow.
On that note,
we're having way too much fun this morning. We are.
Last weekend on the show, we mentioned Means Motorsports was set to move on into 2018, looking for another driver because Joey Gase appeared to be moving on. Well, Jayski.com is reporting that is indeed the case, and FrontStretch.com is reporting that Jimmy Means, the team owner, and Gase met about 2 months ago. Came to the conclusion that they would go their separate ways at the end of this year. So while Means Motorsports is seeking out a driver to continue their Xfinity Series program, Gase is looking for a ride in the Monster Energy NASCAR.
And I think Gase has a man that's going to back him up.
So you got
a gentleman in North Alabama by the name of Jay Sparks of Sparks Energy.
Those
two are really
Sparks
tight.
Energy 300, Talladega Super Speedway.
Those two are really tight.
Make sure you get your tickets at.
The question is where is he going to go?
Premium.
You think?
You think so?
He's driving a premium car at Texas.
Yeah.
In a couple
He
weeks.
drove there at Talladega in the
So this is
spring.
kind of like a tryout?
Yeah,
You think
possibly.
it's like a very thinly veiled tryout?
He drove premium at Talladega in the spring. I think he did it again at Daytona in July. And he's doing it again at Texas. So I think there's some dots lining up there.
Yeah, there is a link there. No doubt about it. Stewart Haas Racing, back to them, expanded out their own Xfinity Series operation. Sort of. The organization obviously fields the 00 for Cole Custer on a full-time basis. Well, now they have forged an alliance with Biaggi Den Best Racing to begin at Daytona in 2018. Now, Custer and the 00 Haas Automation Ford Mustang going to continue on a full-time basis, but the number 41 part-time ride is set to become the number 98. Now, Kevin Harvick will drive the car on a couple of occasions. He'll still sport the Hunt Brothers Pizza and the Fields sponsorships. But as for the number of races and potential other drivers for the number 98, that has not been announced, and it is looking like that is going to remain a part-time ride.
Did y'all see the picture of this car?
I have not.
Yes. How could I
Who
not?
messed up the font of the
The
numbers?
number, yes.
I was thinking that myself.
Yeah.
That's the
They
first
don't
thing
even
it was
match.
like. Yeah.
Doesn't look right, huh?
I think 98 cars going to stay full-time. They'll do like the all-star car.
All-star car?
That's the Stewart Haas all-star car. Yeah.
Yeah, we get to talk about moonlighters. I didn't really want to do that when it came to Stewart House Racing.
Well,
but
we
you know
already
what?
have to talk
I'm
about it
gonna
because Kevin Harvick's going to be in it. Hey, Kevin, do me a favor. Stop.
Yeah, very limited number, man. Real small.
Like one.
Small number.
Don't be a hashtag Kyle Busch.
Atlanta.
Don't be a hashtag Kyle Busch.
Wow.
Yeah.
We announced last week Mike Hillman Jr. had turned in his resignation to Brad Keselowski Racing effective immediately the Monday following the Talladega weekend, leaving Buddy Sisko as Chase Briscoe's crew chief for the remainder of this year. Well, as for Hillman, he's found himself a nice job. He moved over to Kyle Busch Motorsports. He replaced Kevin Mannion on the number 51 truck, effective immediately. Good grief.
Talk about a crew chief that has fallen off of the radar.
Yeah.
Bono.
Kevin Bono Mannion. You know, this was a guy who was so well known in and around the Cup Series garage for a number of years, and now he's not even a Camping World Truck Series crew chief.
Speaking of Chase Briscoe, he's your pole sitter for the truck race.
Well, there you go. So apparently the move for Buddy Sisko is working out well. Got an interesting note for you for this weekend's Camping World Truck Series race. For the first time since Wad and Burton raced together last, there are actually going to be two Burtons racing each other.
Burtons?
Burtons.
Burton.
The sons of Ward and Jeff, Jeb and Harrison, respectively, are going to both be on the track at Martinsville today. March the first time the two are going to race each other in NASCAR competition, by the way.
Okay.
I wish that Caterpillar car would come back to life.
Wad Button. I always liked Ward.
Ward's a
Where I
character.
was going to go with that.
Then we'll just leave that.
Oh,
right
no. When's the last time we actually saw that in NASCAR? When's the last time we had
Kevin
brothers?
Ward?
Like
Or two brothers on the track at the
two
same
brothers
time.
track same time.
2003? 2004?
In the Cup Series.
2003 or 2004?
It was more recently in
I know Ty Dillon and Austin Dillon, of course.
Yeah, you got Ty and Austin.
But ever in the truck side of things. Did Austin ever run a truck race at the same time that Ty did?
Yes.
I'm sure he
Eldora.
did.
I would have to think.
That's right, Eldora. Okay.
Eldora. Yeah.
I was trying to think back. I try to look past the Dillons.
And I want to go back a little bit further, and I want to say that even though he was still working, even though he had already worked for Fox, he was still running some one-offs. That Darrell Waltrip was running some of his brother's equipment, and maybe he and Michael ended up on the track at the same time in a truck or Xfinity race. In one of those one-offs.
Darrell drove the truck at Martinsville. That was really his last official race.
Yeah.
He did a couple. I mean, he did an Xfinity one too.
He drove the that commercial deal they had. Well, hey, Mikey, let me drive the Dream Machine one time.
Yeah.
Where did he drive that? Richmond?
Richmond,
No.
Bristol.
No, he drove it at Martinsville, the one-off Xfinity race they had.
That's right. It was Martinsville.
Yeah, it was Martinsville. Yeah.
What was Mikey in that? That was the question.
No, it was Darrell drove there.
I know Darrell drove it, but I didn't know whether Mikey was in that race
I don't think
too.
he was.
Okay. All right. So then we'd have to go back to when Darrell's last year with Michael.
2000.
Terry and Bobby Labonte, which is a little more recent than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a while.
Man.
Other than the Dillon brothers.
You see, and I was thinking of like full-time guys or anything like that. I don't know when the last time that was.
Well, you and I have talked about Jeb though. Jeb's kind of getting a raw deal.
You're
here.
talking about
He is.
trucks.
Yeah.
I think Kyle and Kurt raced each other a couple times
Yeah, the
when they
brothers.
both drove with Roush.
In the
They
trucks?
Yeah. They both
I
drove
know
with
it's-
Roush at one time.
I know, of course, Xfinity, and of course, top level we got
Yeah,
Kurt and
if you think about the
Kyle.
truck
But
series,
yeah.
I was just thinking about the truck wise. When's the last time that actually happened in the truck series?
Probably been a while.
It's been a while.
Been a while, yeah.
That's going to be pretty cool, and I feel good for Jeb.
Yeah. Well, this is
Other
a kid
than
that
the
deserves
fact
a
that
break.
he needs one.
Huge.
Good night.
I mean, okay, let's go back a little bit. Let's rewind. Talladega Super Speedway. Who won the truck race? Oh, that's right, Parker Kligerman. When was the last time he won? Oh, that's right, Talladega Super Speedway. Go figure.
Yeah.
You know, that's
2012.
another guy who's gotten a raw deal. Instead, he's got a microphone running around in the pits talking to folks. Instead, he jumps in a truck, puts it in victory lane.
Yeah.
Jeb's the same kind of way. If they would give him something, we always talked about the fact that he gets something going and then it falls out from underneath of him, not at his own
And
fault.
it's none of his own doing.
No, it's
Granted,
always,
you want to try to escalate your career the best way you can and get to the top as fast as you can. But Jeb shot himself in the foot when he went to BK.
I agree.
Big time.
BK
I
is
will
where
agree with that.
I will say that
BK
is where drivers go to
career-killing-
die.
Yeah.
That's where they go to
There you
die.
go.
Their careers die of
Yeah.
BK
Kill your
racing.
career.
Unfortunately. And he's having a hard time recovering. Two courts here, and we're not talking. I will say this. There was a hearing yesterday in the Stewart Ward case dealing with Kevin Ward Jr. and
That I wish
his
would
death.
go away.
Well, it's looking like it's going to get better because the judge was hearing the motion of the Stewart team to have 3 of the 4 charges against him summarily
Thrown out.
dismissed.
Yeah, thrown out.
He said that he's taken that under advisement, and they'll get back to it maybe December or early January. Meantime, the ex-girlfriend of Kurt Busch, Patricia Driscoll, is about to go on trial on her charges of defrauding the Armed Forces Foundation, using the funds from that pretty much like her own personal bank account, according to the charges. Bought alcohol, bought jewelry, bought airline tickets. Trial slated to begin February the 5th of 2018. Driscoll initially faced numerous other charges, including allegations of interfering with IRS bylaws, wire fraud, mail fraud, basic fraud, and tax evasion. The interference with the IRS charge was dismissed earlier this year, lucky for her, but she still faces 6 overall indictments, which could carry any combination of prison time, fines, and restitution should she be found guilty, which I really have a hard time thinking that she's not. Driscoll suspected of having taken at least
oh my gosh,
$599,000 from the Armed Forces Foundation's money over her time running the foundation, 12 years in all. Credit card receipts show that she purchased jewelry, alcohol. She paid for travel expenses not only for herself but others, and bought groceries with the charity's money directly, or took the money to reimburse herself for those purchases.
$599,000 would get me 10 really big motors.
She and Kurt Busch dated for quite some time until they broke up during the 2014 season. Right after they broke up, she accused Busch of assaulting her while they were in his motorhome in the infield at Dover Speedway. There was a no-contact order placed against Busch initially. NASCAR suspended Busch for the first couple of races of 2015, which were supposed to be his first 2 races with Stewart-Haas Racing.
Yeah.
But it was later determined that he had done nothing wrong, so he was reinstated, and the no-contact order was actually instead placed upon Driscoll. Fire away, sir. I know you want to.
Well, I mean, I'm military.
Yes.
You know.
That's why I turned it over to you. This
hashtag, I don't normally do this, but hashtag rot in hell.
Yeah, I'm the son of a man who served.
I'm sorry.
But you served.
But, yeah, I mean, that right there, that's not just taken from, an organization. That's taken from an organization of folks that are like my brothers and sisters.
Right.
That's messing with family right there.
Yep.
Exactly.
And then all this other mess about the infield with her and Kurt and everything else. And I guarantee you, I got a few females that would love to just probably line up and just thump her 599,000 times.
At least.
Yeah.
Officials with the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company are saying they expect a contract extension with NASCAR soon. Stu Grant, who's the company's general manager of worldwide racing, recently stated that a contract extension should be announced soon, but admits the details have not been finalized. This is the last year of a 5-year deal between Goodyear and NASCAR. They've been a supplier of tires for NASCAR since 1954, and they've been the exclusive tire provider for NASCAR since 1997.
Yeah, been down in the pits in the garages. I didn't realize how many tires they actually have down.
Quite a few.
Amazing.
A lot.
I was like, hey, that's like 3 trailers full.
Yeah.
You're telling me we don't have enough tires?
Officials at Homestead Miami Speedway proclaim the track is ready, willing, and able to host the season-ending Ford Championship weekend for NASCAR. Yeah. It's been about 6 weeks since Hurricane Irma made landfall in South Florida. Has it been that long?
Yeah. It has been. It's a little weird, though, because, we were talking about that fact that we figured Homestead would get hit worse than Daytona, but Daytona got hit worse.
Yeah. And here's the reason. Yeah. The track of Hurricane Irma actually went further west than they initially believed, so the eye missed the track. It got plenty of rain, got plenty of high winds, but the damage that was noted was part, not all, part of the roof of the Xfinity Series garage ripped off, but being made up of aluminum sheeting, it's already been replaced. And trees, they noted this. Trees had leaves ripped off from the high winds, but they're already experiencing regrowth.
But palm trees are some tough trees.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up the damage.
But, for it to move off the way that it did, usually, every time we hear James Spann slap those suspenders and talk about what's going on, you don't want to be on that side of the hurricane.
Yeah.
So that was still closer to the eye, but it was on that northeastern side.
Northeast quadrant. Yeah.
So you would think that they would have gotten nailed still worse than Daytona.
They said the garages have been checked out, the infield buildings, everything is fine there. The track surface is good. While it got very, very wet, it's in good shape. You want to talk about a green track by the time they get to it. Hello.
Wow. It's gonna be like
Everything got washed
brand
off.
new.
I'm surprised the paint's still there.
Yeah.
Shane Tucker has announced he
that?
has joined forces with Gray Motorsports. He'll officially be running one of their Chevrolet Camaros this weekend when the NHRA visits Las Vegas. Tucker said that the deal came about in Texas when he had an engine issue during his second session. His team got it fixed, but then another issue popped up in third session, and Shane Gray turned over to Tucker and said, you know what? I'll give you an engine. But they didn't get it installed in time to participate. What came out of it, though, according to Tucker, is that he and Shane Gray talked about their respective programs, where they were. Tucker said that he would have liked to have tested at Las Vegas leading up to this weekend, but he couldn't swing it. Prompted Gray to offer up the Camaro that's been sitting idle since the U.S. Nationals. That was the last time it was run, and that was run by Shane's grandfather, Johnny. So, hey, got a car. Want to run it?
Hey, Dustin, you okay over there, buddy?
Okay.
I'm good. Really good.
You got a problem?
No, we need to call Shane Gray.
That's two.
As soon as I heard that, I was just like, ting.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, shut
Good
up.
stuff. Going to be a new funny car team this weekend in Las Vegas. It's the No Mercy funny car team. They're making their NHRA debut with Tim Gibbons driving what's going to be a Dodge Charger entry. No Mercy Racing has been running in the Nostalgia funny car division. It's more of a regional division. This marks their first ever national division entry. Their driver is still seeking his funny car license. So Chris Bennett is going to be replaced, at least for this weekend, by the veteran driver, Gibbons. You got a veteran crew chief, Johnny West, no relation to me, calling the shots. The team is co-owned by Chris Bennett, his father, Jeff, and Brad Miner. All of them have either AHRA and or NHRA experience. So they're well known, and they've done well in the lower divisions, but now they're going to try it up in the funny car side.
I've never heard of AHRA. I've heard of IHRA.
but
I've never
no.
heard of AHRA.
AHRA. The American Hot Rod Association.
Well, after that comes the BHRA and then the CHRA.
Stop it. I'm not making up any stuff for those.
I was like, come on, Steve, let's see how good your improv is.
Oh, I could improv. But
Improv.
we might not be on the air next week.
Yes, we will.
Or be on the air after the break. One of the earliest funny car stars, gentleman by the name of Gas Ronda, passed away earlier this week. Ronda began his drag racing career in the 1950s, driving Hudsons and Buicks, and in the late 1950s got himself a hold of a Chevy Corvette. But he found out that most of the people on the NHRA circuit started to follow suit and drive Chevrolet, so he wanted to do something different. Moved over to Ford in 1960 and helped the Blue Oval division develop their major drag racing program. Ronda set himself apart from his fellow drag racers by his appearance. We've talked about different racers over the course of time.
Yeah.
Was it Dave Marcus that used to drive in wingtip shoes, things like that?
And he still wears them to this day.
Yeah, different drivers kind of separate themselves out by different things. The King Richard Petty, obviously, cowboy hat, sunglasses, and everything. Well, Gas Ronda, in his spare time, in the early years of his racing, gave dancing lessons in North California, and he dressed well for those, so he just kept it up. You would always see him very, very dressed up, kind of to the nines there. In one interview, he said, we'd work until midday before running a race at Orange County or Irwindale, and then I'd send the team home to clean up and put on fresh uniforms.
Coming up next on Dancing with the Racers.
That's right. Ronda drove until a crash in 1970 ended his time behind the wheel. He suffered severe burns from an engine exploding on him in Phoenix. From there, he turned to owning a bar that eventually turned into the Gas House nightclub in Southern California, kept it open until the early 1990s. He had suffered 2 strokes in 2014, but recovered from each of them, only to find he was stricken with cancer. That took his life on Wednesday. Gas Ronda, 91 years old.
We will be right back with more on the Championship Racing Network.
Choosing a bank is not an easy task. You're trusting your money and your future in the hands of strangers. At Renaissance Bank, you're no stranger. You're part of the family. Renaissance can meet all your banking needs with the tools you need to secure your family's financial future. They even have tools for your kids like student checking. No monthly maintenance fee on a balance of $500 or more, unlimited check writing, and open the account with just $50. Visit a branch today in Childersburg, Chelsea, or Sylacauga for more information. Give your kids the tools to have a prosperous and successful future. Online at RenaissanceBank.com. Renaissance Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffer from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my own life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
The following is a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.
Drivers and Danica, start your engines!
Pull those belts down tight. One more time. Warm up those tires. Hit your marks. And let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, NHRA, and local dirt track and drag strip racing talk. This is the Championship Racing Network.
Where'd you go? Where's your home? How'd you end up all alone? Can you hear me now? Hear me now.
Now, here's Steve West, Dustin Harmer, and Matt Nicholson with producer John Myers.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2 of the Championship Racing Network kicking off officially here. And coming up in just a little bit, we'll be talking with a guest. Already made it.
He's here.
Got 20 minutes to wake up, okay?
Yeah, wake up, kid.
All right, real quick, let's see how much news we can run through here. IndyCar officials are, a lot like Formula One officials, looking at ways to protect their drivers, considering the open-wheel racers have that open cockpit. Cost the lives of, for example, Jules Bianchi and Justin Wilson most recently. IndyCar officials have announced they're going to start testing using a screen or a clear piece of, strong plastic, effectively, that could be used to keep debris from hitting the driver in case of a serious crash in front of them. Chip Ganassi Racing has, we'll get back to that in just a second. When you think about it, Formula One's decided to use that halo.
Yeah.
Which to me is, I get the fact that they're doing a lot of left and right turns, but you got this big support bar sitting right in front of you, and to me,
They say it's supposed to be invisible and you can't see it and it doesn't break your line of sight. I don't see how that it doesn't.
I don't see how either.
I don't see how.
But either way, I've seen a mock-up of this clear screen. It looks effectively like putting a windshield on it, which seems to me would be a little bit safer, depending on how strong
it's like we have in dirt racing rock shields.
Yeah.
That's similar to that. But
anything to deflect something.
Yeah, especially a tire.
Yeah, exactly. Chip Ganassi Racing announced a few weeks ago they were downsizing from 4 to 2 cars in the IndyCar series beginning next year. They kept one of their drivers, Scott Dixon, but the other seat was up for grabs. Wednesday, they announced they had signed 2017 IndyCar Rookie of the Year Ed Jones away from Dale Coyne Racing. He will officially take over the number 10 NTT Data Honda entry.
In the where did this come from department.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Of all the people that he could have kept, I mean, he had 2 other very good drivers that he could have kept.
And one with a sponsor.
Yeah, Charlie
2
Kimball.
with a sponsor.
Charlie Kimball is a surprise to me that he's out of a ride at this point in time. Speaking of being out of a ride is Connor Daly. He's out at AJ Foyt Racing after only 1 year. The previous announcement that Carlos Munoz would be replaced by Tony Kanaan in the number 14. That means AJ Foyt Racing is going to have an entirely new look for 2018. Racer.com first reported Daly's comments, later confirmed by the NBCSports.com website. Reported favorite to take over the number 41 is an Indy Lights racer by the name of Matheus Leist. He grabbed a win in the series in the season that just ended. He's a Brazilian native and still a teenager. He grabbed 3 wins in a 4-race span earlier this year, including the Freedom 100 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but lacked some consistency when he drove for Carlin Motorsports. But he's not signed yet, and several other drivers reportedly are campaigning for the seat. Tony Kanaan's one of the first veteran drivers and the first prior Indy 500 winner that AJ Foyt Racing has ever seen. And with some of these drivers that are out there, and I get it, he's got both cars sponsored by ABC Supply Company.
Yeah.
So he doesn't necessarily need to have a sponsor that a Charlie Kimball would have. But when you got a Charlie Kimball out there and all of these other drivers that are out there, it seems a little odd that you would go and pluck a guy who's a greenhorn.
Yeah. You're exactly right. It's just, hey, we're going to go way down here and grab him. And you've got, like you said, Kimball. You've got, who else?
Good grief.
There's somebody else out there that's just not clicking at me.
Yeah, there's a number of them out there.
There's a bunch.
So
there's a bunch.
Nothing, but again, nothing is signed. We'll have to see whether that.
I saw something on social media the other day. There's like 5 big time rides that are still unfilled.
Yeah. So a lot of playing around in the IndyCar silly season. The 2017 IndyCar Series champion, Joseph Newgarden, who drove in some Formula One feeder series before he moved over to IndyCar, recently said in an interview that he would like to run at least one season in Formula One before he finishes his racing career. He's all of 26 years old, got 4 wins in his first year driving for Team Penske and claimed the championship. So it'll be interesting to see whether that comes about. Of course, there is that combination. Formula One is also looking to break into the motorsport circle in the United States. And most experts within the racing world feel that with the U.S. Grand Prix and the American-based team, Haas F1, and the fact that now Formula One is owned by the U.S.-based group Liberty Media, really all they're missing is an American driver. Newgarden admits that Formula One is something he aspires to, but says that he's concentrating on 2018 with Team Penske, winning the Indy 500, hopes to win and defend his title overall. So 2018 is out. 2019?
Yes.
Make that move over to Formula One?
If he wins the 500 and he backs up his title, goes back to back.
What else does he have to prove?
What do you have to prove? Exactly.
At that point in time, you've got to figure out who's he going to go to.
I could see Gene Haas going, hey, buddy.
I could see Gene Haas doing it, but Gunther Steiner, who is the team principal for Formula One, he seems to be less than keen on it. He's like, I don't mind it if I could find the right American driver, but is that too much pressure? To me, there's no pressure at all.
No.
American-based team with an American-based ownership, U.S. Grand Prix, it only makes sense that you would be the one that would go after
and
Joseph
your driver
Newgarden.
is home state is neighboring to where your home base is.
Which is North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Exactly.
So,
it seems to work out. And to me, if you're going to look for it, and we know that he's got it now. We talked about the points breakdown within the formula, within the FIA. He now has accrued with the IndyCar Championship enough points he can go and get his Formula One super license just like that.
Yep.
To me, it would be perfect if his contract works out. And let's face it, Romain Grosjean's probably going to be there.
Yeah.
But Kevin Magnussen's not lighting up the world.
He's not.
So you stick Joseph Newgarden in that second car out there, and who knows what you could do
That's
with
your
Haas F1.
American open wheel drivers in that level. That's your best option right now.
I agree.
That's your best one.
We just mentioned the fact of the cockpit halo system, that bar that goes around the driver cockpit. IndyCar seems to favor the clear shield. We talked about that, so they'll be testing that in the offseason. And Newgarden says that he favors that screen over the halo system, said the halo might be fine for road and street courses used in Formula One, but with a wide range of track types for IndyCar, including 1.5-mile tri-ovals like Texas. Then you got Phoenix, which is actually a little bit shorter than 1.5 miles. But you got the rectangle of Indianapolis, the triangle of Pocono, short tracks like Iowa Speedway. He seems to think the halo causes more problems than it solves.
Yeah.
And that the drivers generally don't like it. And we've heard that out of IndyCar as well.
Especially with ovals, that halo, where that bar comes down the middle, that would be a huge hindrance on your line of sight.
I would say.
Especially for ovals, yeah. And it's just, I don't like that idea.
I don't like it either.
I hate it.
Truth be told. More sad news out of the racing world. IndyCar, in this case, the passing of highly respected car owner Rolla Volstedt. Volstedt likely going to be best remembered as the man who put Janet Guthrie in his car, making her the first female to drive in the Indy 500 back in 1976. Described by many as colorful, passionate, outspoken, and a man who could get anything he wanted. Volstedt was a high-ranking member of the board of directors of USAC, the United States Auto Club. He built and fielded his very first Indy 500 racer in 1963, made him one of the first American-built rear-engine racers to compete at the legendary track. Len Sutton, who had driven dirt races in Volstedt cars in the 1950s, was actually put in the car for the 1964 Indy 500. And then later he had a string of drivers that included names that you would probably recognize in the racing world, not the least of which is Cale Yarborough.
Yeah.
Most people don't realize that he actually had quite the IndyCar career before he moved to NASCAR on a full-time basis. He also had Dick Simon, Larry Dixon, all before he installed Guthrie in his car in 1976. Last Sunday, Volstedt died in his home in Portland, Oregon at the age of 99 years old. We mentioned early in the show that Daniel Kvyat claimed a top 10.
Yeah.
But, he's not going to be able to back that up because Toro Rosso has changed their driver lineup again.
Rosso Roulette.
Yes, heading into the Mexican Grand Prix. They're going to retain Brandon Hartley, but they dropped Kvyat again, and they're reinstalling Pierre Gasly back into one of their rides for this weekend. He wasn't in the car at the U.S. Grand Prix because he had a prior commitment to run in the Super Formula Series in their season finale. And then a typhoon canceled the event. As for the Mexican Grand Prix, Toro Rosso hasn't said what they're going to be doing. But for the races that Hartley's going to drive, as for past the Mexican Grand Prix, we don't know whether it's going to be Hartley and Gasly or Kvyat or whoever. We don't know. Toro Rosso probably doesn't know, quite frankly. They got 2 more races to figure it out. For the races that Hartley will drive, by the way, he has selected his career car number. He's going with the number 28. So for those of you that are Alabama game fans, you get that one. All of this, by the way, could affect what's going on in the Verizon IndyCar Series, because Brandon Hartley was actually considered as a front runner to take the second seat and become the partner to Scott Dixon in that newly slimmed down Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yeah.
But if Hartley is able to build upon a solid, if unspectacular, U.S. Grand Prix, Ganassi might be left looking for yet another driver.
Yeah, everybody had Hartley pegged for that car.
Yep. So we'll see. Fernando Alonso's driving more and more outside of Formula One these days, following his ride in the 2017 Indy 500. He's announced he's going to be taking part in the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona. He's going to join the United Autosports team, co-owned by McLaren team principal Zach Brown, who, by the way, is not British. He's American. This marks his debut in sports car racing. So he's kind of paving his own way out of Formula One here and trying to set himself up for something soon.
Yep.
Force India officials seem to be happier with their 2 drivers now that they seem to be following their team rules. For example, when the Hungarian Grand Prix, you had a couple of run-ins between the 2. Yeah, Force India officials weren't happy following a string of races where Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez were running into each other and creating pretty much more damage amongst each other than they did to anybody else. So they instituted the team orders, and over the past 2 races, Japan and United States, the 2 drivers were ordered to hold their respective positions while together on the track, despite actually the U.S. Grand Prix, Perez practically screaming over his radio that he should be allowed to pass Ocon. Since both drivers were falling into line with team orders, they said that this weekend might be the last weekend that they get team orders. So they might, for the final 2 races of the year, Brazil and Bahrain, might be allowed to race. Anybody see a problem with this?
Yeah.
I could see this going
There's no
real
room
bad.
for team orders in motorsports, period.
Yeah, but when you're messing up both of your own cars by both of your own drivers, it does tend to tick off the team owner.
I would say so.
All right. Yes, sir?
No. Go back.
We mentioned last week that ESPN got the television rights for Formula One beginning next year, and if you can't watch, but you might be able to listen, got some radio rights. We knew that you could do NASCAR and IndyCar on Sirius XM, but now you can get Formula One on Sirius XM satellite radio.
Really?
Yep. They're picking it up. Sirius XM is going to grab the BBC Radio 5 coverage. They did last weekend for the U.S. Grand Prix, and they are going to combine and become the exclusive radio provider for Formula One coverage in the United States. There you go. Expanding out the calendar.
So with the face, with that face right there is...
No, I mean, expanding out the calendar has been something we've been talking about in both IndyCar and Formula One for a while now.
Yeah.
And here's one that's interesting. Formula One officials are in talks with the country of Vietnam.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
I did not see that in the rundown.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm playing catch-up.
Right, black and white.
What the heck?
Formula One officials are in talks with the country of Vietnam about holding a possible Grand Prix in the future. Bernie Ecclestone, who was the former head of Formula One, admitted earlier this year he had talked to Vietnamese officials about a possible race, but felt that there had been enough races in Asia. Then comes Liberty Media. They decide they want more Asian races, specifically street races.
Okay.
Particular interest in them being held on the streets of iconic cities. Is there an iconic city in Vietnam?
Saigon.
Ho Chi Minh City.
I mean, do we really want to go?
Are there
and call
any
that
cities
iconic?
Are there any cities left?
That's what I was going to wonder.
Not destroyed.
I mean, it's not like North Korea by any
I would think
stretch,
Saigon.
Maybe. We'll see. Vietnam's just one of several possible locations that could take the place of the now defunct Malaysian Grand Prix. F1 rules cap a season schedule at 25 races, but they currently only run 21. But there are reports that more than 40 venues are interested in hosting a Formula One race, including, and this goes back to motorsport.com, so take this with a grain of salt, including countries like Portugal and Turkey. Plus, Formula One officials are interested in giving second races to both China and the United States. Where are you going to fit all this stuff in? You got to I mean, this is the World Traveling Series.
Well, they
You
always
got to give
have
them time to travel.
They have plenty of downtimes all over the place. They should be able to fit something.
Yeah,
make
they got an
something in.
entire
You know,
August
maybe
off.
just change the whole schedule. Maybe they just need to revisit the scheduling of the schedules.
Maybe so.
To make the schedule more schedulable.
Wow. Interesting.
Yes.
The family of the late Maria de Vallota reports that they have ended all legal action with the now defunct Manor F1 operation. She had been testing a Manor ride in 2012 and she crashed and lost her right eye in the process, but she made a full recovery otherwise, but died in 2013 from other causes. British authorities said no action was going to be taken against Manor because of that crash, but her family disagreed and began filing lawsuits against Manor and their later name, Marussia, and other parties involved in it. As of Wednesday of this past week, the firm representing the family stated that they had come to an out-of-court settlement and withdrawn all litigation. Terms of the settlement were not revealed, and Manor Marussia now will fade off into non-existence. The NEO Formula E team has finalized their driver lineup for the series' upcoming fourth season. They were formerly known as the Next EV NEO Formula E team. Good grief. They're retaining the services of Oliver Turvey. His teammate's now going to be Luca Filippi. He's been an open-wheel driver since 2003, began with Formula One feeder series Formula Renault, moved up through Formula 3000 GP2, and up into testing with Honda just before they decided to get out of Formula One back in 2007. He moved to the U.S., Filippi did, to become a part-time driver in the Verizon Indycar series. We talked about him a few times, Dustin. Mm-hmm. He ran 4 seasons with Barracuda, Rahal Letterman Lanigan, Carpenter Fisher Hartman Racing, and Dale Coyne Racing, but never got more than 10 events in any one year. Claimed 4 top 10 finishes over that time. This year he was entered in 2 sports car events, but you know, now he gets a chance in Formula E. Andretti Formula E has renamed itself again. Now the team's going to be called MS and AD Andretti.
Sounds like
Let's
something
just make
medical.
this even more complicated, shall we?
Something medical, yeah.
The organization that started off as Andretti Formula E became Amlin Andretti Formula E in Season 2, MS Amlin Andretti last season, and all those letters, basically, I don't know what they mean, and I don't care anymore. As for the driver lineup, team officials said that Antonio Felix da Costa will be back for his second season with the team, and that in preseason testing, the team used 2 drivers, Tom Bloomquist and Alexander Sims. The thought that the pair might split the season schedule. Either way, Robin Freins is out after 2 seasons with them. Where are we? BMW, a season ahead of joining the Formula E grid with their own in-house team, is upping their engineering involvement with Andretti Formula E, so they're going to get a little bit more information before all is said and done. Renault is switching out. They got their Formula E and their Formula One teams. Mm-hmm. What they're going to do is in their partnership with Nissan, because Nissan is much more involved with electric cars. Yeah. Now the Renault Formula E team becomes the Nissan Formula E team, and Renault is going to put more information into their Formula One event. And finally, the annual Race of Champions event, which brings together drivers from all forms of motorsports around the world to compete against each other. Pair up in teams competitions as well. They're going to hold it next year. After holding it earlier this year in Miami, they're going to Saudi Arabia.
Hello.
This marks the 10th different country to host the event in the first ever time. Earlier this year when they ran in Miami to come to the United States, they haven't announced an exact date, but it probably will be in January. And we don't know who's going to participate because, well, let's face it, seasons are still going on. So there we go. Next up, we got a guest in studio. Tell us all about
we do. Jonathan Ponder is in the building, gentlemen.
Flash. We call him Flash.
The mini late model champion.
Did you bring the hardware?
No hardware yet.
No hardware.
No
Yet.
hardware
You don't
yet?
get to show off the trophy?
Yet.
What? You gotta wait? We need to make a phone call.
Oh, just wait. It gets better from here after this. You're listening to the Championship Racing Network.
Don't touch that dial. The Championship Racing Network will be right back.
Choosing a bank is not an easy task. You're trusting your money and your future in the hands of strangers. At Renaissance Bank, you're no stranger. You're part of the family. Renaissance can meet all your banking needs with the tools you need to secure your family's financial future. They even have tools for your kids like student checking. No monthly maintenance fee on a balance of $500 or more, unlimited check writing, and open the account with just $50. Visit a branch today in Childersburg, Chelsea, or Sylacauga for more information. Give your kids the tools to have a prosperous and successful future. Online at RenaissanceBank.com. Renaissance Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffer from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my whole life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
Fuel only, fuel only. Go, go, go. We're back to the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network here on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290. Coming to you live from the J&M Tank Line Studios. Of course, on the radio dial, 106.5 FM, 1290 AM, as part of the Radio Alabama brand of families. Online, WIEA.net. And make sure you download that Yay 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets. Not only so you can listen to the best in racing talk that is the Championship Racing Network, but you can listen to everything that is awesome here on Yay 106.5. This segment of the show brought to you in part by our great friends at Renaissance Bank. When you need financial freedom, make your first and only choice Renaissance Bank. Stop in and see Janice and all the ladies, and Russell, of course, at the 8th Avenue Southwest branch in downtown Childersburg, online at renaissancebank.com, or give them a call today, 256-378-4002. Renaissance Bank, the official bank of the Championship Racing Network. And as I said before, back to you, Steve.
Indeed. Well, we have gotten through the news of what we usually do, but we like to bring in guests whenever we can.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, for example, you had Cruz Skinner in.
We had Cruz in, yes.
Now we got a gentleman who's...
no stranger to the radio.
No stranger.
Yep. We're not sure why
Seasoned
you're not
veteran.
awake yet, though.
The big, that's the big question. Why are you not awake?
I mean, we understand. The last time that you were on our show, we were on a different radio station under a different name, and we were on the air at 6 o'clock in the morning. I get it. That's really early. Okay, it's now past noon.
I think we need to go with a little bit of Jerry Maguire. Help us help you. Help us help you.
I mean, is this a normal thing? Does he sleep in on the weekends pretty much, Dad? Yeah? This late? No?
No.
Okay. Are we having fun with him?
Come on, buddy.
Got it. There it is.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Flash
you are
size.
officially the 2017 champion?
Yes, sir.
Of which division? Tell us all about it.
Being a late model. At the beginning of the year, I kind of started off with a good start. I won 4 or 5 races, and then kind of got in a slump towards the middle of the year. And the end of the year, I came out with
3 out of 4.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 races.
So you finished strong.
Yeah.
All right. So what happened
Strong
during the
indeed.
summertime? Was you were concentrating on too many other things? Is that what's going on?
Not really. It was more of like a mechanical problem that didn't get found.
Ah.
That's right, ain't it, Davey? There was a mechanical issue that was just one of those
Those
bugs.
gremlins.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just like, where's it at? Where's it at? Oh, there it is. And he found it. He called me today. He said, I found what's going on. Well, you'd say probably what, a dollar part, probably?
Isn't it amazing how that works?
A tighten the bolt? Oh, I was wrong. I thought it was that keyway in the axle.
Now Matt knows what he's talking about when it comes to this, because you're
Yeah,
like
you're involved.
You're like
You're
one of the
actively involved with
mechanics, or what are you? What is he like? I know we can't say it on
I'm
air.
just there. That's 3.
That's 3.
Hey, how about the Cowboys?
Yeah, how about them? No, but you work each and every week, of course, with Davey and of course with Flash.
Yeah, I'm the whole year. I think I missed 1 race because I had to go to Atlanta to a graduation ceremony.
Yeah, and then the one time I was actually able to come see a race, you know what? You weren't there. You were at a football game.
How did that work out?
No, it wasn't homecoming.
No, it was something else. There was
Oh, it was the weekend of the Fall Classic. He was going to come that Friday night, but they was racing on Saturday.
But they were racing
and I told
on
him we
Saturday.
weren't racing, and was at the field because Gracie was in homecoming court.
Yep. Yes.
Ah, that's
Yes.
And I still feel bad I didn't hold my end of the bet up to Davey on that one. So,
Ooh, do we get to throw him under the bus?
yeah, throw me.
Sweet. I don't
No,
even
I
know what
told
we're
him.
talking about.
I don't either.
No,
I'm lost.
No, his sister Gracie, she was chosen for homecoming court, and I was
Right.
great.
Right.
Very cool.
Last year, she had won a middle school homecoming queen. If I ain't mistaken, that's how that's categorized. I'm sorry, Nikki. You can shoot me later if I got that wrong. I told him, I said, she gets in it next year. I said, I'll wear a suit with you. He had a suit on the first thing. He said, I thought you were going to wear a suit.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Ooh.
By myself, yeah.
Ooh.
Sorry.
I think,
Total
you know
miss.
what we need to do? And you'll like this. I think we need to put him in one of those suits from like Dumb and Dumber. The orange or the baby blue.
Oh, I like the orange idea.
I think
like
I have
that
another individual that would probably wear a colored suit with me.
Yeah, I like that.
His name's Kyle.
Oh, well, there
Kyle
you go.
probably
There you
would.
go. See, we can make that happen.
But
Maybe you should wear that for the banquet when he gets his hardware.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
look!
go.
Yeah, see?
There it is. Now we got
John's
it.
on board now. Yes, I think we need to make that happen, Davey.
No.
So talk about your season, like wins wise, how many wins, all that stuff. Talk about all the different things that you went through this year.
Like I said, we started off good and ended good, but we went through a long slump. I think I got like 7 wins out of this year.
How many races?
20 or 21. I
20 or
think he
21?
finished worse than second,
You
twice?
stop and
Twice.
think about it, though. In racing world, that's pretty good
Pretty
percentage of
consistent.
wins.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
Well, we didn't really have that many people. We had like 5 people each race.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
still,
once in a while.
You got to beat them,
Yeah.
and you
It was-
did.
It was an average of about 5 cars a race.
Yeah, but I got a chance to see some of the videos that y'all post out and everything else. It was pretty cool. Saw some cool moves. Yeah, I was about to say last time we had him on the show, you were just missing out on the championship because of a family trip, right? So this year you capitalized and went out and got it, huh?
Well, last time we were on, I mentioned that I wanted to win the championship for this year, just for it to be cool and all. And we decided to try our best not to miss any races this year, and it just happened, I guess.
Sweet. That's awesome, though. Wait a second. If I remember correctly, didn't somebody promise you something when you got the championship?
3 wins short.
3 wins short.
But the other end of the
Wow,
deal,
talk about setting the bar high.
well, he was
He
on-
won the title.
Hey, no joke. He was on pace to get those 10 wins in a hurry.
Yeah.
And I looked at Davey and Nikki both. I said, I may be out of a pair of shoes here real quick.
Still think you
What
should
was
get
that
at least
bet? Tell
one
us- tell us
shoe.
that
Yeah,
bet.
tell us about the
I made a bet with him that you win 10 wins through the entire year. I'll get him a pair of driving shoes, just the same kind like I have. And those are not cheap shoes at all.
Yeah, but
But I told him, I said, you win it outright. I said, you'll get the shoes.
what was the bet for the championship, though?
I can't remember what the championship bet was.
There was you got through without a championship bet? I think you got shafted.
Well, I told him-
I think you
well,
did.
I did
I
tell
think
him-
you need to talk to your manager.
Well, 3 weeks before the last race, I told him, I said, you win the last 2 races and you win the championship outright. I said, you'll be back on the show. He said, okay.
Yeah, we were going to have him on the show. Oh, was I
like
not
that.
supposed to
Okay.
tell him that part?
Well, I didn't tell him until like last week, I think. It was last week, yeah.
I just like that. Okay, yeah. I mean, got it covered.
Got it
I can get in the
covered.
car. I can do that.
All right.
But yeah, but all year, from the start of the year, and Steve will like this phrase. Early in my career, if I would, have I guess you could say a slogan for the night, I'd put it on a piece of tape and put it on the dashboard.
Oh,
It'd be
okay.
finish or, whatever
Yeah.
I want to come up with. Well, early in the year, I took a piece of tape and put it on his dashboard. 3-word phrase: do your job.
There it is.
And it stayed
you
on
did
there,
your job.
It stayed on there the whole year long. And I was, I'm sure he's the same way, but he was impressive all year long.
Good.
But if he'd get flustered, he wouldn't carry it through to the next run, whether it was a heat race or if it happened in the main, he wouldn't carry over to the next week. It's just like saying in sports, leave it on the field. He left it all on the racetrack. And
On that note, we probably ought to explain this because we've talked about
Yeah.
you run
Yeah.
out of Talladega Short Track in the late models. He's in a mini late model.
Yeah.
This is Talladega Short Track, but this is
the
slightly
Raceway
different.
Yeah, the Raceway Park that's out behind the short track.
That I never knew was even there. Didn't even know it was there until.
And that's the reason.
I mean, we've been down in the pits
because-
how many times to go see Garrett and everybody else, and then I never knew it was. Hey, it's right there.
Oh,
Well,
what's
and
that?
Again, that's why I bring it up because there may be people that, like you said, know about Talladega Short Track, but they don't realize that there's the separate smaller track back in the back just behind it where during Ice Bowl weekend or normal Talladega race weekend when Talladega Short Track is also running, that they have
Right.
This is the pit area.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's part of the
Effectively.
pit area,
But
yeah,
they
yeah.
also race back here and tell us details on this track.
It is a 1/5 mile, maybe. If that right there, it's a pretty fast little track for go-kart standards. It's out behind turn 3. They race there every Friday night. Free admission to the stands. 14 or 15 divisions of karts out there, maybe?
17 and 19.
Wow,
17
really?
and 19.
17
yeah.
and 19?
They've got, yeah.
Oh, that's
And with
right. When we
some
went to the awards banquet the one year, we were like,
Some
man,
karts-
they've got a lot of divisions.
But there are some karts that guys will run one kart in 3, maybe 4 divisions. So,
Is that
yeah.
really?
Yes.
I mean,
There-
even with the
there's
change,
one-
there's like not changes or anything like that.
Very
minimal.
minimal.
Like just the color of the plate and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, they got it's restrictor plates that you can put on these engines. Purple, blue, red, and maybe green, I think. And they just change the plate out and it conforms the engine automatically of what division they want to run. So it's real minuscule changes. But
So even I could do good.
I don't know about that.
no.
Help me, buddy.
Well, you'd have
Help
to get
me.
used to it.
Yeah, exactly. You got to teach me.
Hey, that last race out there, the unlimited kart division, a kart turned a lap in that track in 9 seconds flat.
That's booking.
Flat.
So for the division you're in, the mini late models,
Yeah.
is there different divisions inside of that, or is it just
You got mini late models and you got junior late models. That's it for that standards right there. Yeah.
So you're in the minis and then you move up to
The difference in between the minis and the juniors, you have to be under 13 to run minis, and it's 5 horsepower motor, ish, 6.5. And juniors, you can run 13, anywhere from 13 to 20 horsepower.
And that starts when?
Starts. Oh, you talking about juniors?
Yeah, when
You
like
can start-
when would
can
you
start
move up to
at 13.
juniors?
You can
13.
13.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're how old now?
12.
12.
And when do you turn 13?
August.
Next
Okay.
August.
So you got a little
Next
ways.
August. So you got,
Got
one
some
more
ways, huh, Dad?
one more year in the juniors or the mini late models, and then you
Yes,
move
sir.
up to the juniors.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, for the last race of the year, I think we went over to help get things ready. I think it was on a Wednesday or Thursday. I just told him, I said, your slogan all year has been do your job.
Yeah.
It's changing for this race. Finish what you started.
Okay.
And he kind of looked at me like, huh? You started the year on top, finished the year on top.
Yeah.
And go out there and draw the pole for the heat race, lead every lap, start on the pole for the main, lead every lap. That's what you call finishing what you start.
Absolutely.
Well, every
So-
every race wise, you got your mindset for the race and all that stuff. But what's the one thing that you really found it difficult to do this year? Like, what was one thing that was really hard on you to get through the season with?
As we were going through the season, there was a lot of, like, I would say, like, arguing and stuff because there was this,
Yeah,
there was
I agree.
one car that we didn't really like too much because,
Was his name
We all-
Kyle Busch?
The car number
Well,
did
him
have an
too.
8 in it.
yeah. We, 1 year, 1 week, each other would wreck each other because we were just, like, we weren't really, like,
Well,
friends.
I mentioned, I didn't call any names, but this is in same reference a couple weeks ago when I talked about the kid.
Oh, that's right. I remember
Same
we were
kid.
talking about that. Okay. Okay.
There was a lot of unnecessary things that did go on that racetrack that shouldn't have been going on with kids his age.
Yeah. Well, for you, how did you overcome that? For you as a driver?
I just had to let it go and try to win every race without being dirty.
Yeah.
Because there was plenty of times that I could have wrecked him on the last lap.
Yeah,
And-
several.
And that's on you.
I just passed him
there's
clean.
there's no communication in the helmet or anything like that, right? So this is when you're on the track, it's your mind that's got to do what needs to be done. How do you, being 12 years old, you're going to get a little fired up, of course. How do you keep your cool while you're in that car doing that? When you got something like that going on, what do you have to do to yourself?
Like, whenever I get mad, I just bang on the side of the car. I just get real mad whenever he wrecks me or something. And then, like, I try to get back up to the front to him, and then even though that still happened, I'll still try to pass him clean.
Yeah. So you still try to do the right thing.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
He learned a lot, and he developed really, really, really well throughout the whole year. And the good thing about it is, if something happened in the heat race, he didn't come in and show just utter frustration, just beating the heck out of everything, throwing stuff. He went in, sat down, he cooled off, and he let it go.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the
maturity.
thing that impressed me the most.
Yeah.
And him as well.
That shows a maturity that you don't often find. And quite frankly, we don't see it often enough in some of the things that we talk
Yeah.
about, some of the series we talk about
Yeah.
on a regular weekly basis.
And they're adults.
How many times have we talked
Yeah.
about how NASCAR drivers go after each other?
And he can't. He
Let's talk
can't.
about Eric Jones, who can't drive. He doesn't know how to do a crossover. I mean, we talked about that today.
If Eric Jones wants to learn how to do a crossover and execute it perfectly, there you go.
Now that was my next question for you. I know that you
Yeah.
record video and stuff. Do you go back and watch those videos to see what you could have done differently?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Later on in the year, he'd say, "Hey, did anybody record that? Record it? Yeah, come on, here you go. Go watch it. See what you done." But that's where he learned a lot from.
All right, we got to take a final break here. I'm going to let Dustin, Matt, and Garrett, you get to come over here and take this to the final stretch here.
Yeah.
I guess you'll talk a little fantasy as well.
Sure.
You know, because you got to look forward to Martinsville today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
You going to talk Mexican Grand Prix?
Ole.
That's enough. That being said, we'll take a break on the Championship Racing Network. We'll be right back.
Stay right here for more on the Championship Racing Network.
Choosing a bank is not an easy task. You're trusting your money and your future in the hands of strangers. At Renaissance Bank, you're no stranger. You're part of the family. Renaissance can meet all your banking needs with the tools you need to secure your family's financial future. They even have tools for your kids like student checking. No monthly maintenance fee on a balance of $500 or more, unlimited check writing, and open the account with just $50. Visit a branch today in Childersburg, Chelsea, or Sylacauga for more information. Give your kids the tools to have a prosperous and successful future. Online at RenaissanceBank.com. Renaissance Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I am Sergeant Clay Warren. I suffer from PTSD. In 2013, I ended my own life. Now my voice has been brought back to speak to people like me. Know that you're not the only one. Things can get better. You don't have to carry that burden anymore. Speak up now to get the help that you need.
22 veterans end their lives every day. You just heard the reconstructed voice of one of them. Seek help at mission22.com.
4 tires and 2 cans of fuel, and we're back to more racing action on the Championship Racing Network.
Welcome back into the Championship Racing Network here on Yay 106.5 and WYEA 1290. For everybody that's tuning in, of course, this is the J&M Tank Line Studios, live from there for the Radio Alabama brand of families. 106.5 FM on your radio dial, or 1290 if you choose the AM side of things. Of course, if you're listening online at WYEA.net, hello. And of course, if you're listening on the Yay 106.5 app for smartphones and tablets that you can get from where, Matt?
That would be from the App Store or the Google Play Store.
There you go. You can listen to the best in racing talk anywhere you are in the world at whatever track you're at. And when we left, we're coming back. And, of course, we're meeting with the Flash, John Ponder.
Hello.
What's up, buddy? We were talking about, your season and everything else. And we're talking about how you deal with when you get a little upset on the track with certain individuals who we will not name. We'll call them Voldemort. What we call Kyle Busch every week on the show. But for you, now that you're into the off season, what's your goals that you're setting for yourself? Not that Matt's setting for you yet. We'll get to that next. What's the goal that you're setting for yourself? I mean, you've got the championship this year. You're going to go back to back. You're going to try and win them all. What's your personal goal from John?
Just to have fun. Go out there and have fun.
There you go.
That's what I was looking for.
There you go.
And if you're not having fun, then what's the point, right?
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Exactly. Now, what's your goal that you've set for him next year? Have you all discussed that?
There's really not one.
Because I really want to see a bet in here somewhere or something where he gets to wear like a clown suit. We can work on that, right?
Look, we have his mother and his grandmother watching on Facebook Live. No, no bets.
Come on, we have to have something where we get to embarrass Matt. So we'll have to talk about that.
No.
Yeah.
We'll have to get together on that.
You're always trying to embarrass me for something.
Dad's on board. He's smiling.
Hey, I'm in with
He's
it
always
too.
up for something to get me. But
So for you hoping to repeat next year? Of course, that's the ultimate goal. But you hit 7 wins this year. What are you going for next year?
We're not really going to go for the championship. Just show up like every once in a while because
Oh, okay.
the budget is getting rough
Oh yeah.
and stuff. So we're just going to show up every week so I could still have fun and race, but it wouldn't be constant.
Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
no.
It just gives you time to concentrate on the other things that you do, because you do a lot of stuff. I'm so jealous
Yeah.
of you. You get to race. You play baseball. I mean, what all do you do besides racing?
Baseball, basketball. I'm thinking about going back into football.
Jumping on trampolines.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, I've seen his Instagram. He does all kinds of flips, and I'm like, I would crack my skull. I'd break my leg. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Now, your baseball team actually just did something. Was it this season, right? A championship as well.
Yes, sir. We were number 1 in the state playmakers division.
Okay. And what was the team? What was that all about? Was it fall ball? I mean, what is it altogether?
Fall ball.
Fall ball? And Oxford Elite, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, I pay attention, man. Y'all don't think I do. So you got all kinds of other stuff going on, and we've talked about it with you before, you know, with your schooling and everything else that you have going on. How do you balance that? I mean, do you balance it on your own, or is there a guidance?
Well, they
See,
got
what
to
had happened was
See,
They have to be strict with me in school because I always forget to do my stuff.
yeah.
But I'm gonna start doing tutoring and stuff so I can get better.
There you go. So you're trying to get yourself better all over the place. I like
Sure.
that.
Yep.
Matt?
He does a lot for a 12-year-old. I'll say that much.
Yeah, but I just remember playing
He's
with
nonstop.
matchboxes. That's about all I did.
If he's not fishing, he's playing baseball. If he's not playing baseball, he's racing. If he's not racing, he's trying to do 3 backflips in a row on a trampoline.
That's easy.
That's easy.
That's easy.
If he's not trying to do 3 backflips on a trampoline, he's trying to jump out of the 2nd-story window of his house onto a trampoline, right?
Are you serious?
There is a video with him jumping out of his 2nd-story window onto the trampoline.
Daredevil.
I'm not kidding.
I need to hang out with you more often.
I think my mom deleted it.
But
Mom, I want to see that. So you do all kinds of stuff. You're all over the place. You just, like you said, a daredevil, little energy guy all over the place.
Boy, everything-
But you're not awake for the show.
I'd say with what he accomplished on the track this year, if there would be a goal to be for next year, running part-time, go undefeated.
Can you do
He's
it?
got the equipment to
Can you
do
do
it.
it?
I think I can.
All right.
As long as I put.
See, I like the
effort.
confidence
Yeah,
that
that's
he
what I was
has.
fixing to say. I love
He's
the
real
confidence.
confident.
Every time he's come in, we've talked to him. He's got confidence, and that's the one thing.
Well,
that
the
I
thing
like
about
to see.
him, you know, he's got the confidence. If you go to the car and if you're like, oh, hey, you racetracks like this, stay here, don't leave this groove, or so forth. You know, go out there and get the job done. You can do this. And if he cuts his eyes up, doesn't move his head, cuts his eyes up to you, and you can see a little smirk inside the helmet, you know he's focused and he's confident that he can
Yeah,
get
I
it
say
done.
we've heard about your smirk through the year.
Yeah.
That you got this little smirk of, just kind of like a back off, I got this kind of thing. Is that
Like,
what it
hey,
is?
y'all chill out.
Well, we know you have to get ready to go because you've got things to do because you are a very busy person.
Yep.
But we're getting ready to do our picks and all that stuff for the Martinsville race in NASCAR. Are you following all that as well?
Nope.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Man, you got to get on with that. I mean, we're supposed to, ask you, hey, who's going to win this weekend? Oh, such and such. Not Kyle Busch.
Oh,
So,
on-
look, I'm going to coach you right now. Just say not Kyle Busch.
Not accomplished.
Thank
On
you.
that-
See, there we go.
Granted, the last couple races of the year, the track was a little on the slick side.
Yeah.
But if you ever want to see anybody in a mini downscale size late model power slide one like a real late model, look no further.
Now, you talking? We were talking about that. And
Yeah.
we were talking about sponsors and things of that nature. Who helps you on that car each and every week?
Well, we got Professional Apothecary in Talladega, which is Chris Helms. Watts Logging in Montford, which is Rodney and Curtis Watts. My Nana and my Tim, or my grandfather, or
Grandmother and
grandmother.
come on, bud.
I can't speak today.
Wake up!
J&F Towing in Montford, which is my pawpaw, Johnny Frank. We got Camp Callers in Montford, which is my other pawpaw, and that's Johnny Ponder. We have and thanks to David, Connor, Matt, and my parents, my sister for cheering on and the support for this year, and that'll be it.
So you got like a whole family of fun out there each and every week.
When it goes to Victory Lane pictures, you can't even see the car.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, though.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that's all the fun stuff right there. Well, We definitely love having you in. We'll have to get you back in a couple more times maybe throughout the off season when when you can fit us in your busy schedule.
That's fine with me.
I made a prediction. That's your 2020 whatever homecoming king of Mumford right there.
Uh-oh. What? Really? You don't let him throw? Is that what it is?
Homecoming king's not a bad thing to have.
I don't know. I never got chose for it.
Considering hands down, he's probably the most popular kid between my high school and middle school.
Well, as much
put
stuff
together.
as he does, I mean, he's got to be popular on that fact. Jumping out of windows and stuff like that.
Well, that's not it. I also did a bat flip on the top of my camper.
Off the
We
top
definitely
of the
need to
camper.
hang out.
Like on, not off, but on it.
On it. I was about to say.
I'm just waiting on a phone call one day from Davey or a text message. Hey, we're at the hospital. Jonathan broke his leg in 3 places trying to do a backflip.
But he
Much
said,
of a much of a daredevil as he is, I can see it happening. I don't wish no bad luck on him, but the way he goes, you're thinking, oh, here we go.
Well, before
When's it
you
happen?
roll out of here, you want to tell everybody out there that's watching on Facebook Live, of course, listening on air here on the radio station, you want to tell them anything?
Thanks for watching, I guess.
Thanks for watching. I like that.
Thanks for watching and good night.
Well, we'll definitely have to get you back in soon. Dad will work on that, of course. Get him back in a couple of different times. Not just when you win championships and stuff. We'll have to get Matt to talk. You guys get squared away when you come back in. Join us, and maybe you can actually throw in some. This is going to win this week, or who's going to win that week. Sound like a plan? All right.
So far.
All right. Well, we're you about to say y'all are getting ready to roll out. So,
Yes, sir.
all right. Well, we will definitely look to see you guys again. Congrats on the championship, of
Thank
course, and we hope for the best for next year as well. Hopefully, we'll talk about you maybe this time next year being undefeated, and Matt's wearing a tutu.
Yes, sir.
All right, I like that. All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Thank
and,
you.
And I guess we'll go into our questions and picks for Martinsville this weekend.
Yeah. Let's roll.
What do you got? You want to walk them out, and we'll get Garrett?
Don't matter. Sure.
All right, Garrett.
Sure.
You're up. Who's going to win Martinsville this weekend? Who's your pick?
What series?
You got a dark horse, a no-show.
Top series, Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series.
Okay.
Or do you need to think about it for a moment?
I think I can do it. Okay. I think Harvick will win the race.
I like that. That's a good call.
Harvick. I also think. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to get shade for it. Kyle Busch.
No, that's fine. That's who you're what now?
That's
Your dark horse?
Yeah, my dark horse.
The dark horse is Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
Or who's not going to win at all? Who has no chance winning this weekend? And you can't say Danica Patrick because I use that.
Oh, dang.
Which I can't use that anymore. I'm not allowed.
Ooh, I don't know.
I'm under contract.
Gee, I wonder by who.
I've been ordered.
I'll say Suarez.
Suarez. Okay.
Suarez.
All right. Yeah.
Who'd you pick outright?
Harvick.
He picked
Harvick
Harvick.
outright.
Kyle Busch is the
Kyle
dark
Busch,
horse.
dark horse. Suarez, no-show. My no-show is going to be Ryan Newman.
Your no-show?
My no-show.
No-show, Ryan Newman. Wow, at Martinsville, really?
Martinsville.
I mean,
He's a winner there.
He's got some.
2012.
Yeah, he.
Yeah, I'm going to say no-show this go-around.
All right, we'll see.
Dark horse. Clint Boyer.
Okay.
Considering they're practicing today, I can't gauge that. I'm just shooting from the hip here.
Right.
Outright win. Got to go with that 11 ball. Hamlin.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is his home track, so.
Denny Hamlin.
Really?
Outright. Yep.
Really?
FedEx delivers.
FedEx delivers, baby.
But we're also here's my thing. We're also in playoff time, so my no-show is going to be Denny Hamlin. I think he's going to get screwed up pretty bad for the race tomorrow. Only due to the fact that it's playoff time, and when it gets into playoff time, Denny Hamlin is like he doesn't really mix well. It's like oil and water. He always screws himself over. He overthinks it. I don't see him doing well tomorrow at Martinsville. He could have a good day.
If he doesn't win at Martinsville, the place where he'll mess himself up will be Phoenix.
Yeah, well, and I mean, he made it to Homestead a few years ago when he was there he was within the points. It was Johnson, Hamlin, and Harvick, and he totally threw himself out of the equation with some stupid moves.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my no-show is going to be Denny Hamlin. I think he's going to get shafted pretty good this weekend. Well, tomorrow at the Martinsville Speedway. My dark horse, and I don't like throwing the name out there that much, but it's going to be the likes of Kyle Busch. You look at Kyle Busch, and he's a guy that can get it done at Martinsville. I thrash him a lot, but he's proven himself at Martinsville. I mean, yes, something kind of happens sometimes and it gets him jacked up, but he's going to be the guy I'm going to be looking at. He's going to be wanting to make a statement as we go into this next round, this first race in the round of 8 at Martinsville.
Yep.
And then I'm going to go with my all-out winner. Man. I don't know. I'm not going to go Harvick because I would definitely say a Harvick, especially with what he's been doing coming out of Kansas.
Yeah.
You got to go with the guy who's hot right now, and I'm sorry, but Martin Truex Jr. is going to be your winner at Martinsville. You look at the first round, the initial round, he won the first race. You look at the second round initially, he won the first race. Goes to Kansas last week. They've got that sentimental going into this week coming out of that win at Kansas.
He's got such a huge lead right now. He's all but a lock for the Final Four.
He is.
And he has to have a catastrophic meltdown.
And that's the thing. That's why I'm looking at if he can get himself in position where he can win tomorrow at Martinsville, then he's going to not have to worry about Phoenix. He's not going to have to worry about Texas. He can start concentrating on Homestead.
Yeah.
That's where he's going to set himself up for the championship. I know you and I picked Larson to win the championship, and, of course, he's out because of a blown engine. But if I got to look at anybody right now, there is nobody betting against the likes of Martin Truex Jr. in that 78 Toyota Furniture
No. By no means, no.
I mean, he's so far ahead of the rest of the
But I'll tell you somebody else, don't look past him tomorrow.
Who?
Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott is another guy. But
don't look past him.
I'm still sticking to what I said a couple weeks ago, that his first win's going to come at Dover.
I'm sticking with Texas.
I said Texas at the beginning of the year.
You're going to say Texas?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're sticking with Texas.
I mean,
I'm sticking with Texas.
Newly repaved track, I mean, it's kind of
See, the reason I looked at Dover, and we were talking about it a couple weeks ago on the show, is the fact of every time he's run there, he's done so well. He's been right there, and it just kind of goes away. But I think that
you talking about first wins. If Bubba Wallace gets his first win, I can see that at Dover.
Yeah.
He is good at Dover.
Yes, he is.
No matter what he gets in, whether it's an Xfinity car, truck, K&N car, or a go-kart, he's good at Dover. He always has been.
All right, so your dark horse is Suarez. I'm sorry,
Kyle Busch.
Your dark horse is Kyle Busch. Your no-go is Daniel Suarez, and winner is Harvick. You've got...
Dark horse is Boyer. No-show is Newman. Outright winner's Hamlin.
All right, my outright winner is Truex. My dark horse is Kyle Busch, and my no-show is Denny Hamlin.
Yep.
That's a heck of a mix right there. Lots of Toyotas in the mix this week, of course.
No Johnson in Arnold.
Yeah, no Johnson. Yeah, we don't want a Johnson. We don't need Johnson. Don't need Johnson in there at all for all the Johnson fans out there.
Justin, just stop.
What?
Just stop.
No Johnson. I don't like Johnson. All right, so we got 2 minutes left in the show. I want to go out real quick. Of course, we do our picks every week. We got those squared away. Garrett's on board this week. It's been actually kind of fun having another person instead of just us bantering back and forth. Great to having John on with us, the Flash Ponder.
Absolutely.
And congrats on his championship, of course. We've got a few other things that we want to get through here real quick, and of course that's the fact that we want to thank the great folks at Renaissance Bank for all their support each and every show, and the fact that we just love working with them so much. When you need financial freedom, make sure your first and only choice is Renaissance Bank. Make sure you stop in and see them down there at 8th Avenue Southwest in downtown Childersburg. Give them a call, 256-378-4002. And remember, Renaissance Bank is the official bank of the Championship Racing Network. And, of course, we want to thank our newest sponsors, our newest partners, as Cruz Skinner pointed out to me last week. Our newest partners are Christmas in the Pines. That's the Christmas Village and Light Show that's going to be going at the Camolda Grist Mill. That's November 17th through December 23rd. I know it's hard to say that.
On a closing note before we close.
Yeah.
Nikki has established the video of him jumping out of the window.
Sweetness.
I have it.
All right. Well, there we go. We're going to get that video. We'll see you next week right here, same time, same channel, right here on Yay 106.5 WYEA 1290 for the best in racing talk, Championship Racing Network. See ya!
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.